My name is Sabin ORCAN. I am the editorial director of Newsweek Romania. It is an honor to have been invited to moderate one of the panels of this special event. I am being a little bit ironic because Mr. Georgescu Taru, the host of this event, knows me to be a good historian, a better historian than a transporter. But as any reporter, I have to be flexible and adapt myself to the topic. And I hope I won't be off topic when introducing this panel, which has to do with the Danube's role for Ukraine's reconstruction. So let's speak a little bit about geography. We've all learned in school that the river Danube is the second longest in Europe, the first one being the Volga. However, there's a whole debate around this issue from very ancient times. Does Europe end before or after the Volga? Herodotus was saying that it ends somewhere near a small Georgian river. Strabon said it ends at the Donus River. I hope I won't offend anyone in saying that the continent's definition does not only pertain to geographical characteristics, but to history, culture, and values. And in my opinion, we've seen this over the last couple of years. I mean that Ukraine is part of Europe, and I am pained to say that Russia is not, if we consider its values. That is why I strongly believe that Romania and Ukraine, irrespective of the conflicts they had in history, should cooperate and find a common denominator so that they can both develop here in this area, nearing the Black Sea, nearing the Danube, in order to create here a stability, a geopolitical stability area. Coming back to the topic of our panel, let us see how or what Romania could do in order to help its neighbors that have to go through a harsh war never seen before in recent history. How could they rebuild their country? How can they better resist as a country and as an economy? And I have here with me two people from Romania and two others from Ukraine. I will try to introduce them briefly, although I have asked them to introduce themselves, and each speaker will have about 8 minutes to present their ideas. Ideas about how we can rely on the Danube as a transportation area between Romania and Ukraine. And then for the second part of this panel, we'll have a Q&A session. So please reflect on your questions and feel free to ask them to our guests. So once again, I would like to thank them for joining us. So we have two Ukrainians and two Romanians. Next to me, we have Mrs. Ivan, the head of the river administration of the Lower Danube. We have here Mr. Ivanov, the representative of a private company dealing with transportation. And we have with us from Ukraine, and I will let them introduce themselves, so I won't simply read what I have on this piece of paper. So I will let them speak, introduce themselves, and tell us more about their ideas. And if we launch a debate, it will be even better, since our purpose here is to have contradicting ideas, but coming to that common denominator, find what unites us. So I'll give the floor first to Mrs. Ivan. Hello. Let me tell you a beautiful story about the Danube River that we manage as a maritime authority from kilometer 75 until it spills into the Black Sea. So, until the 24th of February 2022, it was a positive Danube. We had 2 or 3 ships a day that were going to the mining ports in Galați and Brăila, less towards Ren, Ismail, and Chilia on the Ukrainian side. However, on the 24th of February 2022, history turned a page, and Danube's role changed. Ukraine was under attack, involved in a war it never wished for. The ports were under attack, and they couldn't carry out their mission. So Danube had to take over this role of communicating with the ports of Ren, Chilia, and Ismail. It was the only possibility was to go through Sulina or through Bystroe. And it was quite difficult to manage such a big number of ships in Sulina. It took us some time until we got together between port authorities between the 3 countries. It happened somewhere near the 27th of May 2022, and during that meeting we established working methods and means, and the ships' listings accepted by the ports in these 3 countries. So from 2 or 3 or 4 ships a day, we moved on to 5 ships going upstream or downstream to the Black Sea with their cargo. So today, we have an average of 16 ships a day, out of which 80% go to and fro Ukrainian ports. So it is a delicate moment in time when we are all aware that without joining efforts and without trying to stop the Russian sabotaging that is carried out on the economic and civil sides, we cannot go forward. We have a duty, therefore, to cover all the needs that may arise at the current moment. The needs that the Ukrainian side is faced with. So we have to somehow cover the needs and to take over the requests of Ukrainian ports. Tell us a little bit more about the authority you represent. What is the river administration of the Lower Danube doing? We are ensuring the depth, the minimum depth on the Danube, 2.5 meters and 7.05 for the maritime Danube. And we carry out dredging activities, especially during summer times, when this activity is very important. We also carry out signaling activities in order to ensure safe transport. And we provide assistance via our tug ships to any kind of event or incident on the Danube River. We are carrying out measurements and performing pilot service. So everything basically that supposes a good management and navigation on the Danube, on the waterway. Is the Danube ready for this challenge, for this increase in transport capacity? There's always been this discussion in the public arena. I am not a technician myself, so I'm not knowledgeable about that, but it seems that some areas are not wide enough or deep enough to allow for a certain tonnage ships. And maybe the traffic is not as fluid everywhere, so there are bottlenecks. Do you think further investment is needed? From the moment we understood how important the Danube was, we've made all the efforts to ensure that in due time, once we have the measurements, we have the dredger that deepens the water, that if before we had ships up to 2,000 tons, we have today ships of 25,000 tons dead weight, or 37,000 dead weight. So the Danube has a real potential here. And via the Primus project, aimed to increase the traffic capacity in Sulina, we will be implementing a 24/7 normal traffic, which will increase the number of ships. Of course, this will be done in parallel with an increase in capacity. The waterway has 60 meters wide, and a bigger ship couldn't go one next to the other. What are the problems that your administration is faced with? The number of pilots is our biggest issue. We started with 32 pilots, and we have today 60 pilots. And we are preparing 5 more in Cheromnav. The 30 we had were approaching retirement, so this was a delicate issue. But we are beyond this problem right now. And with 65, 70 pilots, with the Primus project implemented, the Danube will be able to fully contribute to the reconstruction of Ukraine. It will ensure transportation towards the Romanian, Moldavian, and Ukrainian ports. Thank you, Mrs. Ivan, General Director of the River Administration of the Lower Danube. I will now give the floor to Mr. Vladyslav BIELAKH, Deputy General Manager of the Ukrainian Danube shipping company. And I'll ask him to tell us a few words about the company he represents and about the Danube's role within this cooperation between Romania and Ukraine in the transportation field. What do you think should be done for things to go even further in the future? And maybe we should have a long-term cooperation going beyond this immediate war. Thank you, Mr. BIELAKH.
Thank you very much. Dear speakers, dear attendants, thank you for the chance to present my company here, to have a discussion here. My name is Vladyslav BIELAKH. I am a Deputy General Manager for Finance and Development of Ukrainian Danube Shipping Company. We call it UDP because from Ukrainian transliteration, this it will be more correctly. So first of all, from what I want to start is actually to present the company, because my opinion is that today we are one of the brightest examples how the economy is recovering and can be recovered, what is the prospects, what are our plans, and how we can be useful in the framework of cooperation between our countries, meaning Romania and Ukraine. First of all, what is UDP? It's a full-scale shipping company with around 250 units, barges, self-propelled barges, and tugs. We have own shipyard. We also started to relaunch our sea segment with 3 sea vessels, putting them in operation. Historically, the company was working and is still working on the full length of the Danube River. 2 years ago, we started the reforms of the company, so the company is changing its shape, is going to more international standards, transparent, and very attentive to the business development and cooperation, not only with Ukrainian business, as well as with Romanian and all EU countries where the UDP can be useful in terms of building logistic chains and transportation via Danube River. First to start, it's actually the structure of our let's say commodities, what we have done, what we are, and I will speak a little bit what we are planning to do. Of course, more than a half from 2 million we made last year was dedicated to agricultural products, because as all you know, for the quite long period of time, the Danube River was the only waterway that can export Ukrainian grains and oilseeds. So the statistic, as you see, and very important to mention that in case of river shipping, we were very tightly cooperating with Constanța port. Practically the majority of the flow was going through Constanța port. Of course, we had some issues, some problems, some working moments which we have resolved with the Romanian side and are still resolving. And maybe I will not speak more about the problems and will focus myself more on opportunities, because I must conclude that Romanian authorities and Romanian business has done a lot for Ukrainian flow. We were feeling it and are still feeling this support. And all issues that can be improved are the subject of our governmental business groups, and are still, let's say, working and still improving. But actually, if we are speaking about the game plan for 2024, we think that the agricultural products will be less, given that the deep sea water port are operating, and we hope they will be still operating without any reductions and any, let's say, danger from Russian aggression perspective. And our opinion is that we should increase our mining and metal sector and go back to the traditional way of bringing the raw materials from Ukraine and metal production to EU. Here, there is a demand for such transportation, and we understand clearly that right now it's substituted with the railway, with the trucks, and our intention is just to go to bring this commodity flow back to the river. And that is a top priority for us in terms of our competitiveness and efficiency. I'm sorry. Why we think that we can be competitive, and what is our advantages right now? The main thing that we have changed from the past, that UDP become a reliable partner, actually in terms of fulfillment of obligations and building up the business all over the river with partners. We are welcome for the partners, for any offers that can be developed. We changed our business scheme from the not only provision of simple freight from one point to another. We are participating already in stevedoring business, have built own stevedoring capacities in Kilia. Multifunctional, we started with grains, but we are ready for all kinds of commodities in both directions, exporting and importing, using the UDP fleet, meaning the barges and the tugs. Also, we are considering possibility to develop a partnership in European river ports, because what we observe and what we see, they are unutilized, and we are looking for the prospects to have any cooperation in terms of organizing for our clients full logistic chain, meaning loading and discharge from Ukraine to EU countries and backwards. Here I think that very important actually what message we can send to Romanian business, that we last year we started to negotiate utilization of the river ports of Romania, and we are looking for the possibility and looking to prospects to find some commodity flow that can be utilized through the river ports, and that's maybe very prior direction on which we can focus in terms of relations between our countries. As a player on the Danube market, we are one of the biggest companies. What are the advantage of ours is that we can bring monthly big amount of volume of any commodities, which is quite attractive for systematic clients that are not present on the Danube market during some short-term perspective, but see their role in Danube logistic in the long-term perspective. So this is our advantage, and we are aiming still to develop it. Also, it should be mentioned that we are still expanding our amount of fleet, building a new barges, modernizing our fleet, and have planned to add tugboats, new tugboats, meaning that this mentioned in presentation capacity will be increased in the year or 2 or 3 year perspective, meaning that we want to increase our flow. In terms of pricing as well, we are trying to be a tailor-made provider for any client, meaning that, okay, the freight market on the Danube last 2 years was quite volatile, quite spot, quite with great numbers, but it's not the case that UDP is following upper freight rates or we still intending to build a comprehensive model with like market pricing acceptable for our clients. That's also important to mention. The next slide is more about actually the reforms we have already done and what we are targeting, why we are becoming more and more efficient, more competitive, and why we are intending and announcing that we can give advantage to our clients. The first one to start that UDP is doing business directly with cargo owners. We are not using any brokers, intermediate that maybe you have heard in the past. So the fleet is not distributed through any, let's say, partners, only directly through UDP. That helps us to manage the fleet, to understand how we can build business with our partners, and allows us to be more and well operationally skilled in terms of all our cargo flows. Also, for the past 2 years, we have repaired and are going to renovate all our fleet in order to maintain the already mentioned numbers of 250 units in operation without any, let's say, decreases, in order to serve well all the flows which potentially we possess right now, and potentially we could possess in future. As I mentioned, we are expanding our stevedoring business and are open for any opportunities that may appear in Romanian river ports, in any other EU countries' river ports, and ready to discuss and build the supply chains. Also, very important to mention that we are close to conclude a financial cooperation with International Financial Corporation. Actually, we see them as our institutional partner in financing in terms of fleet construction and modernization. Very important for us that they are still already with us. We are cooperating, and I think it's a big sign for all business and all counterparts that UDP has already changed its, let's say, shape, and bringing to the, and is going to the more international and transparent company, even state-owned, and we are ready for any, let's say, financial and business partner. Also, what we are passing, it's digitalization of all operational activities with our fleet. I think it's today is a big necessity actually to reduce the number of, let's say, human factor and go into the technologies in terms of shipping business, and we are also on this process. And in a bit hurry to change actually, and to be more digitalized and more corresponding with today's business environment. And very important also to mention that in order to be efficient and competitive in terms of business conditions and the freight rate, operationally we are trying to have a transparent procurement and elimination of any corruption schemes that brings losses or extra losses or cost inefficiency that you may have heard about UDP in the past. So all these initiatives making us firm to bring our business structure to the competitive environment, and we are ready to take one of the leading positions in transportation, in logistics, and always ready to discuss any business initiatives that may appear in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I have some question for you, but I will keep it for the second part of our debate. O să-i dau cuvântul domnului
Now I will give the floor to Mr. Ivanov, who is CEO Trading Line, an important company in Romania. Thank you very much for inviting me at this event. I would like to show you a video that presents our company, and afterwards I will tell you more about this Romanian company. Thank you.
A high capability and efficiency fleet for both dry and liquid cargo. Trading Line operates a modern and young fleet of vessels and assets with a market value of 165 million euros. Inland Shipping is a crane operator and is also involved in different research projects for autonomous shipping. We started in 2012 with 1 pusher and 10 barges with a total capacity of 20,000 tons. Since 2012, we are continuously growing, and by 2023, we reached a total capacity of 160,000 tons of dry bulk and 40,000 tons of liquid. In accordance with our long-term vision to grow the company up to 100 vessels and cover all lengths of Danube from Constanta up to Regensburg with services. Ships like Ursa Montana and Ursa Montana 1, the biggest river vessel ever built in Europe, 200 meters long and 17 meters wide, with a total capacity of 10,000 tons. Marian and Marian 2 with a total capacity of 8,000 tons. Alja, Alpha Mi, Libero, and Servia are vessels with a capacity of 4,000 tons each. KVB Orphe, Heroes, Anaconda, and Roxy are push combination vessels with a capacity of 5,500 tons each. KVB Viktor and Visco are push combination vessels with a capacity of 5,500 tons each. Vessels Navidas, Petran, Excelsior, and Temptation with a total capacity of 5,500 tons each. Also, Avenir and Durich are vessels with a total capacity of 5,500 tons each. Bolero is a port container vessel 135 meters long and 17 meters wide with a total capacity of 5,500 tons. Tuna is a vessel 135 meters long and 12 meters wide with a total capacity of 4,000 tons. Vessels Matrico, Triad, Forns, and Quito are motor tankers with a total capacity of around 3,000 tons each. Vessels Continental and Mulsen are tankers 135 meters long and 17 meters wide with a total capacity of 9,000 tons each. Inland Shipping is a crane operator with a fleet of 4 cranes. K2 and K3 are 2 floating cranes capable of operating up to 600 tons per hour. K1 is a floating crane capable of operating up to 450 tons per hour. NP 466 pontoon crane is capable of operating up to 350 tons per hour. Using a unique, in-house developed IT infrastructure, we provide our partners full transparency. Real-time video, GPS, EDA, NOR, SOF, documents, and many more with top-end, cost-effective services unmatched by other players in the market. Some of the trading line and inland shipping projects they have been involved in lately. Our vessel Avenir preparing to discharge 3 oversized boilers. Cranes K2 and K3 operating 17,000 tons from our vessels Ursa Montana and Marian. Our vessel Excelsior discharging 3 reactors of 600 tons each. Thank you.
Mulțumesc.
Thank you. I would like to add a few words about myself. I started my entrepreneur career at an early age in IT. Then I started this project called Trading Line. And this is also pushing me to focus on my IT qualities, and we've became a Starlink partner in Romania. We are also an Orange partner, and we have connectivity on ships. We have streaming at high speed in order to be capable to pilot ships remotely, as it happens in Belgium and the Netherlands, because the next generation of ship captains will have an 8-hour day job piloting or managing their ships remotely from an office. And Danube is a good tool into reaching our aims. This is why we need to tackle it as such. We need to focus on the Danube River, and we therefore monitor the 2 large-scale infrastructure projects, namely the locks in Măgurele and the locks in Hârșova. Because losing money each and every year, money wasted on dredging the river, is not sustainable. Once we solve the river depth, we will solve the capacity issues, and we can attract many investors in the port of Constanța, and we will be able to operate shipments to and from Ukraine. Thank you, Mr. Ivanov. Now, the last speaker is Mr. Viktor Berestenko, the president of the Association of International Freight Forwarders from Ukraine. Please present to us the association's activity in a few words, and then tell us what the main cooperation ideas between Romania and Ukraine are. Of course, we are talking about river transport on Danube, and transport towards the Black Sea. Please, Mr. Berestenko, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for inviting. I joined to gratitude for organization of this meeting, and joined to gratitude for government of Romania, for business of Romania, for citizens of Romania, for help and support of Ukraine in this time. This is my first words of my speech. I would like to ask some clicker, and this is our presentation, but I think you have already seen all this information from previous speakers in previous section, but I would like to tell a few words about our association, because I have 7 minutes and I will try to make my story shorter as I can. So a few words about our association, how it works here. We are a member of FIATA, this international federation of association, who is a member of World Customs Organization and World Trading Organization. And we united more than 158 forwarding companies, which located in Ukraine and provide services for all over the world. 47 individual members of FIATA. Before the war, it was more than 50% of imports and export goods of Ukraine and 70% of transit goods worked by our members. I would like to pay something with translator, you see, to pay your attention about that. We have possibility about Ukrainian ports turnover more than 240 million tons per year. In 2021 year, it was just 153 million tons we worked. So that means that we work just for 56% of our capacity, of our possibility, and we have resources to grow up. one more screen about turnover of container in Ukraine. 1 million and 1 million in 2020 and 2021. And we have possibility to work more than 3.5 million TEUs per year. And it's really interesting. According to turnover of Danube port, you have already saw this information. Statistic for 11 months, like until the end of November, showed numbers close to 30 million tons. And what else? Additional information about food security, etc., etc. I'm not sure that I will close to my presentation. I would like to explain my think about your question. It's really important in the beginning of the war to cooperate with Romania's business and to cooperate with Romania's association, like the same association in Romania, Association of Freight Forwarders named User. And it really helpful for all of us. You told, Angela told about how many, I forget, not a vessel and pilot, yeah, do you have? It looks like some huge and fast step to develop of your business, of your infrastructure, you know, your Romanian infrastructure. And it looks for all of us like 1 + 1 is synergy 3, totally, yeah? And what we have to do, we have to help each other. And what else I would like to show you, I have already asked the question, I don't know what's with translation. This is information about, you told already what's going on with our river on Danube. I would like to show other picture, this picture. What we are doing now, we are trying to make possibility and to build way for cargo to deliver from point A to point B. That's all. All infrastructure, all pilot, all vessel, all, I don't know, terminals, yeah? And World Bank make investigation that's named Logistic Performance Index. You can see last investigation was in 2018. And after COVID, they didn't do anything, and last one was in 2023. That's mean efficiency of customs clearance process, quality of trade and transport related, etc., etc., etc. This is a lot of feeling things for logistics, for supply chain. And Ukraine has number 2.7. Romania has 3.4, I think. And that means that we have to make our infrastructure and our supply chain more easy for trading and development, for development of our economy. For example, we see the first point is Singapore, Finland, Poland, and Ukraine is 179 place. Yeah. According to your question, you see, we are trying to build new ports, new way, new infrastructure on the board. And then I am owner of truck company. One of my business is truck company. I have 44 trucks. And for me, I was confused when we built new road, when we built new terminal, when we buy new vessel which carried this truck. And then we are waiting for stamp on the documents for custom clearance. Because we don't have any more custom officers. So, now not in Ukraine. It looks like in Romania, yeah. And this is the problem. I told to the Secretary of Ministry of Transport of Romania about this question. You know, it looks so funny. It could be so funny. But we got a request. Does it work, yeah? We got request from Romania Business, our association. Please send mail to your Minister of Foreign Affairs. For that, your Minister of Foreign Affairs will send some mail or some documents for Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs to add some custom officers in different places on the border, you know? And it's really interesting. I don't know why it's going on, but we have to solve it together. Because we have to pay attention like Ukrainian business and Romania business. And
there's no one here from the Romanian government, but I can assure you that the same bureaucracy is between Romania and Bulgaria, or between the Romanian authorities and Mr. Ivanov company. So this bureaucracy issue is a big issue, and yeah, it's not only for you. So don't feel like it's against Ukraine. It's about Romanian bureaucracy. We have to work on that, and it's still a lot of things to do. Cred că microfonul face puține probleme. Dacă ne auzim. So the bureaucracy is a Romanian issue. We try to solve it, and we have to work on that. But it's also a question about the border, because we have the easternmost border of the European Union, and as you know, we are not in Schengen yet, but we have to abide by the European rules in terms of control at the border. But that is true with the bureaucracy, that the issue that you raised. So with that, I think we should go to the second part. We're in time. We have almost 20 minutes in the second part. Dacă cei din sală au întrebări,
So if you have questions for our speakers, I myself have a couple of questions. So if the audience has questions, please ask them. There's a mobile mic that the organizers will provide for you. You can ask your question in any language you want. We have interpretation. We have in the audience people from Romania, Ukraine, and not only. So if you would like to ask any questions to our guest, please feel free to do it.
Please, go ahead.
Доброго дня. Мене звуть Наталія Тодорова.
Good afternoon. My name is Natalia Todorova. I'm the head of the community of Ismail region. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Skotaro for inviting our community for this very interesting forum. We learned a lot of interesting things which we might need in our work, and especially in the development of our community. I would like to take a few minutes of your time. Our community is the biggest community in Ukraine. We have more than 142,000 people of population, and I was very glad to hear that Danube is of importance today, because we have some settlements along Danube, especially Starosenevsky settings, and we have also Kislitsa channel, and we have two lands which make ecological threat, because we cannot irrigate due to these lands, islands, and we cannot get proper quality drinking water. I heard that River Danube is going to be deepened. Is there a project for cooperation with the community and of clarifying these waters in this channel? Дякую за запитання.
you could answer this question, maybe Mrs. Ivan, since you have also an experience in the academia. So, with regard to the environment, we had problems in the area of the Bystroye Channel. We had there irrigation and drinking water issues. Could we do something and cooperate with Ukraine? Of course, that the issues your community faced were the same for the Romanian communities. So people living in the nearing regions benefit from special programs set up by the Environment Ministry. And we have meetings with the Danube Delta Committee. We even had a meeting recently in Tulcea. So we are constantly looking for joint project possibilities. As Mr. ORCAN, Mr. Sabin ORCAN said, I am teaching in a border nearing university in Ismail, in Cahul and Chișinău, and we've always tried to involve the communities of these countries that create a triangle in Eastern Europe in order to help them improve their living standards. So, as I know of, there are so far 2 projects of this kind that have been approved, which doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue and push forward. Thank you. And this would be a question for Mr. BIELAKH as well. You do not necessarily represent Ukraine here, but I don't know, have you maybe talked about the Bystroye Channel issue in this new war context? Was there a debate in the public arena? Let's clarify a little bit things about the Bystroye Channel and its role in transportation, in the transportation area. And how important is it for the Ukrainian side and then for the Romanian side? Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Mr. BIELAKH?
Actually, the Bystroye Channel, it's more related to the sea vessel flow. I think, okay, it's important in terms of intention and amount of vessels which was directed to the Danube sea river ports actually. And in the whole transportation chain, yes, of course, it's very important because impressive numbers which were presented on earlier panels regarding the export via Danube River and including Danube River ports are also a result of operation of Girla Bystroye. So, if I answer it right, so that's all. Maybe you have some additional needed clarification.
No, thank you, Mr. BERESTENKO. What about the attacks? You have a business in Ukraine. Also, you have the president of this association, and we speak about the ports. But some of your ports were attacked by Russia. Are they working normally now? Is there any plan to develop more ports or different ports? Because we've seen in the last year some rockets attacking some ports of your southern part. So what is Ukraine's plan in this area, please?
Thank you, but not some ports, all ports were attacked. Yeah, and it happens, I don't know, day to day, even today morning it was happening in port of Big Odessa, like Chernomorsk, Odessa, Pivdeny and other ports. But we have no other choice. We have to survive and we will work anyway. until we will have maritime connection. Thanks for our Ministry of Defense, for our soldiers, for our neighbors that they made possibility to make free our waterway, like told your representative of Ministry of Defense, and we don't have any other way. We are working even today, and now we are thinking about recovering of container shipment between Ukraine, like deep water. Yeah, this is not Danube port, this is port of Chernomorsk, port of Odessa, and port of Yuzhny to connect our economic with all over the world. Yeah, this is my answer on your question. And I would like to add a few words to my speech. If we will solve that problem with customs, with other bureaucracy, who will win? Will win first Romanian business, Romanian budget, yeah? And we, Ukraine and Romania, must together make step to make better condition for cargo, except like with Poland, with Hungary, with other country. And this is our home task, because I will separate this situation for two parts. First is before victory of Ukraine, and second after the victory of Ukraine. So before the victory of Ukraine, we have to cooperate to grow our volume of Ukraine cargo through Romanian ports and Romanian infrastructure. And after victory, we will be a member of European Union, and we will think about how to become of East Gate of European Union.
What I hope is just my remark, is my opinion. What I hope is that after you win this war, you'll remember who were your best friends in these times, these hard times for you. Because not everyone in European Union are doing so much like Romania is doing. This is my opinion. Domnule Ivanov, vă rog.
I will change to English. First of all, because my colleague says that it's a win-win situation. At this stage, Ukrainian and Romanian is not a win-win approach, because the business partners in Ukraine is more opportunistic approach and is subject to the missiles of Russians. You know, they are not thinking on long-term approach to make a cargo flow to Romania. It's subject to the, you know, if you are Navy, it's okay or not. But I suggest that this message, they need to look to the long-term approach and to respect their agreements. It's not a contract, it's only a paper for them in mindset, and then run away. Yeah, this is my message for you, for your association. Thank you.
Did you have this situation yourself, your company?
Of course, suddenly our clients disappeared after the Odessa was open, and they didn't care about the contracts. They say, yeah, this is a signature and that's it, but we'll have court cases. So you can imagine when the Odessa will be blocked again, what they will do.
Can you comment on that?
Yeah, sure.
Because you have a lot of companies in your association, so.
If we'll compare turnover of Danube port, we can see for last month it contained less than close to a little bit more than 2 million tons. For October it was close to 3 million tons. So I fully agree with that. The biggest part of cargo will turn back to port of Odessa. Understand that. But if we are talking about long-term condition, we can how we can work with this way if we will deliver cargo to the border and then we have to wait. I don't know what and why we have to wait. This is our problem that we have to solve together. Because we have to understand that our customs will choose that way which is cheaper and which is faster. And that's our home task. Because as I told, we have to separate it for two parts, before victory of Ukraine and after victory of Ukraine. That's my answer on this question.
Thank you. Știu că doamna apăra guvernul român, totuși
Mrs. Ivan doesn't necessarily represent the Romanian government, but she is the leader of an institution in charge with the administration of the lower Danube. How can we diminish the waiting time for those vessels waiting at the border? How can we improve the management? I think this is a problem in this area, in this part of the country. Can we create a protocol? We are in the EU, they are not. Can't we sign a protocol in order to ease the traffic between the two countries? We are working on it. We are working to solve this matter. Unfortunately, the entering formalities. So those vessels that go through Sulina port need to be checked by a committee in order to verify that they have the right documents. We have customs representatives, border police representatives, and other officials, and we agreed that in the moment we have a higher number of pilots, the pilots taking over these vessels will cover all the needs. But the waiting time is the result of the fact that we have several control teams. For example, they come into Sulina port. Let's say we'll work 24/7. Once one shift gets on board of the ship and they finalize the documentation and all formalities, those ships will be free to go, and the next convoy will be able to enter the port. We discussed with the Ministry of Transport to use a 4+1 format. The U.S. Embassy, together with representatives of EU member states and Ukrainian officials and Moldavian officials and Romanian officials, work together to shorten the waiting time. But we shall see what happens when there will be a bottleneck in Odessa. The Danube River should always be ready to accommodate as many ships as possible and to receive as many ships as possible. Mr. BIELAKH, do you have anything to add? Do you have any comment for us, because we are closing the debate?
I think I need to comment Mr. Paul situation with actually it was raising the question of fulfillment obligations from Ukrainian counterparts due to the changing market, let's say, situation. I think that this problem exists, but not only in Ukraine, but in other countries. The clear explanation for that, it's I mentioned in my presentation, it's a high market levels of freight. Sometimes when the freight rate is warm up due to the lack of barges or due to the bigger flow which is coming, which suddenly fall down to Danube logistic. And of course it's a very difficult situation, and for me as a representative of Ukraine, it's a pity that it happens. But sometimes it happens from the side of ship owners as well, but not in the frame of companies like UDPs or trading line, because it's quite essential market players. We should not forget that there is a big amount of small vessel owners, which always also warm up the market with their freight rates, using the, let's say, some market situation in their favor. And sometimes both parties, meaning the clients and the ship owners, are trying to implement this situation in both ways. But my opinion is that it's completely unacceptable, and I hope actually that the market will clean itself from any cases that may appear in future. I think it's a common market practice to have blacklists and to understand in the terms of some short period of time who can do what actually. And moreover, these companies which break relations or didn't fulfill obligation in the favor of our Romanian partners, and Mr. Paul Ivanov actually is a partner of ours, because we were also cooperating jointly in Constanța port. And from my side, I just can assure that not only the trading line will make the right conclusions about some counterparts which are not fulfilling the obligation. It will be the same like a mirror done in UDP as well, because I absolutely agree with his point that all the players which are planning to keep business and to be present on the Danube River even after the war, they should jointly and care about the fulfillment of obligation in order to show the strongness of the market. And the market also should understand that the price can be rising and can be falling. And in the case when the price at some point will rise, so practically this unfair counterparts can immediately be affected by the same effect, but not in their favor. So that's my point, I think, and we need to follow this practice in order to support each other, because it's a pity to hear like the examples. Like,
can I add something? So I wanted to.
Thank you, Borog.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight that they need to keep the constant flow, that FIDG also keep the pilots, also that everyone has incentives to develop the Danube. This is what I'm trying to explain. And because this opportunistic approach, they do not invest in Kilia, in Reni or Ismail to increase the speed of loadings. They're loading with primitive tools, and then once Odessa open, gone. They don't want to invest in the ports.
So you're afraid we're late with our panel. So the last question is, you're afraid that if the situation, the geopolitical situation, the war situation is changing, they will renounce this route and they will use some other.
Yes, the old route.
Okay, Mr. Berestenko, it's late. Your last.
I don't have to.
But do you have an opinion about that? About this Romanian part? You know, feeling that after all the war is over, fortunately you will win the war. This cooperation will stop and we will change the route of transportation, or do you think we can build something for the future past the winning of the war?
Before the war, we had 153 million tons in 2021. Now, according to the information from all slides that I saw today, it was for last year close to 17 million tons. So half of that volume that before the war. I understand that when our ports on the deep water didn't work, all volume worked on Danube port and on Constanța. Constanța. Now the part of that cargo was returned to the Ukrainian deep ports. This is my answer on the question. I don't know about commercial, some contract, etc., but if you, like owner, I don't know, like you have two buses for one direction, like to Bucharest, one and other one to Bucharest. Which of them you will use? In one bus you can buy ticket for 20 minutes for $5, in other one for 1 hour for $10. Which you will use? And this is not a question to transport business. This is a question for cargo owners. But if will be shorter, I will answer to you. I believe that we will cooperate and after the war, after the victory with Romania, because we have to build gate for East Europe, for international cargos, for trading of Europe through our waterway, inland way, etc. Because I hope that we will not have in the future, when we will be member of European Union, on the border with custom.
Thank you. Domnule Ivanov, și
last thing.
Concluzia. Fără întrebări, doar o remarcă, vă rog.
President of Ukraine came to Romanian government say we will bring 4 million tons of grains per month. Yes, so you need to invest in Constanța. You need to all port operators needs to invest, and they didn't make any law to say okay, Odessa 1 ton, Danube 1 ton. No, if they open Odessa, all disappear to Odessa. And there's no incentives for Romanian government or for Romania to help Ukraine in this situation if their government is not respecting some commitment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mulțumesc, domnule Ivanov. Mulțumesc tuturor. Ce vreau să vă spun, concluzia mea nu e una tehnică. Ne-am dat seama acum din...
My conclusion is not a technical one. Thank you, gentlemen. But I realized, following our short discussion, I realized that despite the fact that Romania and Ukraine are coming closer together, we need to build trust, not only ports. And another conclusion of mine is that we are not talking about humanitarian aid here. We are talking about business, and business follows different rules than humanitarian aid. Romania, from grassroots, from the level of the grassroots, the people in Romania did a lot for Ukrainian people. Can I say a conclusion about Constanța port? For 30 years, we haven't invested in this port, and then we understood all of a sudden that we need to invest to become the greatest port at the Black Sea. So if we make investments now, they will be here for the future. They will be long-lasting investments. And I want to tell you something. Long live Romania, Slava Ukraine.